I have these really cute pair of jeans that I love. I haven't had them for that long, but they're too big now and they don't stay up. So I want to transform them so I can actually wear them. And I'm going to make them into a skirt, just like this one here. Both of these items are from Stitch Fix. This is a democracy skirt, and I like it. It's got this really heavy elastic, stretch elastic band in it, and the length is pretty good. For tights, it's kind of a darker skirt. I want to make this skirt out of this pink one, probably 2 inches longer. I'm gonna start there. So one of the things, this is also stretch denim. One of the things I need to do is to put the elastic in the waist, and I wanna cut this off and I'm going to turn it into a skirt. I'm gonna show you how to do that. So the first thing I wanna do is measure the length of my skirt that I like. And this skirt is 17 inches long. And I wanna make it a little longer. Just to start out, I can always shorten it again. So I'm going to make this 19 inches, and I'm gonna measure on one leg from the top of the waistband and also on the other leg from the top of the waistband. And then I'm gonna take it to my rotary cutter and I'm gonna cut this off. So that's the very first step. Okay, no way back now. The legs are cut off and gone. So there's a couple of things that we want to do. The first thing that I'm going to do is unpick this whole inseam here. We're going to start with that because we want to transfer it to make it as close to this as possible. It's going to be a pair of jeans, so we're not going to have that, but we want to start with that. Also, once we have that all opened, one of the things that we want to consider is fringing this bottom. And you can see that there is a stitch here all the way around the bottom, and that's to keep the fringe from going absolutely crazy. So I'm going to take this and spend some time unpicking this before we come back and sew it into a skirt. All right, we cut out we've unpicked the leg seam, the inner leg seam of the pants, and on the front you have the pants are cut with a curve, right? When we cut pants, we have this crotch line. We need to deal with this. We can't have this on our skirt. That would look silly. So for the front, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it over as a detail. I guess it's going to go this way as a detail, so you can see that it's going to be a detail on the front of the skirt. Now here at the bottom, we have a little bit of an opening, and this is where the style comes in. Now I want to keep in mind that this skirt, how wide the front and the back pieces of this skirt are. So it's quite a bit wider than my jeans are going to be. So what I'm going to do is add a piece inside here. So I have the rest of these legs, fabulous legs, and I'm going to cut a piece. And this fabric has this kind of striation, which is pretty typical for jeans. So I want to make sure that I cut it going the same way. I'm just cutting a rectangle for now. I'll deal with it later, trimming the inside, but I'm going to pin that in there like that. And then top stitch all of this down. And of course, at the end, I'm going to have to refix my hem, which is one of the reasons we cut it a little bit longer. So we made sure we have enough space. So there's my front, right? This is all stitched. I'm just gonna stitch this down and top stitch this down with one layer of stitching. And my front is all set, and that looks really cute because this will be cut across here and it'll all be fringed. So here's my front. Really happy with the way that came out. Lucky I found thread that matches perfectly in my stash, hard to believe. I folded that over and added a little triangle here in the front. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna trim away on the inside all this excess fabric because we just threw it in there. So make it easy to sew when you have a piece that's big enough you can move around. And then also, because I folded this crotch piece over, I have this extra fabric in here. I'm just gonna trim that away. I don't need it. There we go. So now the inside is nice and neat. There's not all that extra fabric, and the outside of the front looks great. So I'm happy with the front. Then you need to try it on, make sure that you like the way it fits. I ended up unpicking a little bit more of this, pretty much just to the bottom of the pockets here. And what I have decided to do is carry this seam down a little ways on one side with a little pleat inside there. So in order to do that, I'm gonna cut myself a big long piece of old leg like this. So now I have an extra piece that I can play with. Got that inside, scooch it up so it's high enough. I'm gonna pin this down so now I can start playing with how I'm going to style this piece, the backside. So the first thing we know that we're going to, for me, I'm going to get rid of this little flap here. Just makes my life a little easier. So that's a straight seam, and I'm actually going to try to kick it out a little. What I want is kind of a little kick pleat, if you will, sort of like a little godet in the back. So this is going to get sewn like this. And this is, you know, the design process, right? You try something, you don't like it, and, you know, you try something else. I mean, I'm going to sew these right sides together right now. I'm just looking at it as from a design standpoint to see how it's going to look. Now with this piece, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold this under here, and this will actually get folded. Let's take a look how it's going to actually look. This will get folded. This needs to be clipped. Careful not to cut pieces I need, huh? So this will actually get folded and top stitched down, because if you look at the way we did the front, I just top stitched the edge, which goes with the style of the garment. So I'm just gonna fold this under. Make sure we have enough fabric coverage. So, and again, I'll do the same thing with this. After I stitch it, I'll go back and get rid of the excess fabric in the seams. And I just use my edge foot to stitch that. So this is my edge foot and has a little bar, and it rides, the bar rides along the edge of this ridge. So I get a really nice even stitch along the seam. So I have that one, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to fold this in on itself. And pin it down. And now I have this fun denim skirt where I had a pair of pants that didn't fit me anymore. Now this skirt is a little narrower than this one. Not much, it's pretty good now, but if you wanted it as wide or wider, you could add a couple more godets in here. You could add godets on the side. You could do some in the front. I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do with this. You could do this in a contrast. You want to be careful where this falls. You know, you don't want to look like you're pooping out fabric. But outside of that, that's pretty good. So I'm going to stitch this down and go back and trim all of the excess on the inside. recut the bottom so it's straight. And then on this, you can see before they fringed it, they did a row of stitching in the same color, and then you can fringe it. This protects the fringe from like creeping up your legs as you wash it and wear it. And yeah, our skirt is done. If it's too large up at the top, you can just add a piece of elastic on the inside. Actually, now that it's a skirt and not a pair of pants, it fits really well. It's not sagging down, so I'm happy with that. Added a little vent in the back. It's super cute. Now I'm going to go and on the inside, just like we did in the front, I'm gonna get rid of all of this extra fabric. So this was the big square that I put on. And yes, I have my fingers underneath there so I don't cut it, anything that's not supposed to be cut. So that big rectangle that I added, and this is the extra pant leg pieces. So I'm gonna take those away. This one too, because we don't need all that bulk. Yeah, look at that, that looks great. Now, I'm going to go level off the bottom again. So here's my denim skirt, upcycled from a pair of old jeans. I opted to do a double-stitched hem instead of doing a fringed edge. I just kind of like the look on this particular skirt, but you certainly could do a fringed edge. It would be adorable. In the front, we came down and added just a small godet in the front. And I used the crotch seam for some detail. And then in the back, we worked up the back crotch seam quite a bit and then added a fairly good godet as a kick pleat. You could make this a pleat if you wanted and had something a little bit more structured. I was just looking for something very casual. Yeah, love this. It worked out really, really well. You know, I couldn't wear the jeans anymore, so now this skirt lives in my wardrobe, and it is one of the pieces that I like to wear. I hope you enjoyed this upcycle video, and until next time, happy sewing. Bye.